NGCP were to invest, were to complete its transmission development plan at na construct natin ang buong kalsada na kung saan dadaan ang electricity, bababa ang direct transmission charges, and at the same time, more importantly, bababa rin yung congestion costs.
Ito na nga, House of Appropriation Chairperson Stella Quimbo dinepensahan ang Pangulo. Nakawan sa Bicam, hindi umano totoo. Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bagong mga balita. Mariin ngang itinatanggi ni Marikina District Representative Stella Quimbo ang nakawang nagaganap ngayon sa Bicam. Ito'y matapos silang questionin sa mga blankong budget ng Bicam. Ayon pa kay Quimbo, ay hindi umano ito makakaapekto sa integridad ng national budget. Narito ang buong detalye.
So, the Honorable Stella Quimbo is recognized.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Babalikan ko po si Mr. Rico Vega, ang ating OIC CTO. So, sir, if I remember correctly, you joined NGCP in 2021? Is that what you said?
Mr. Chairman, I joined NGCP 2009.
Oh, 2009. Okay. But you assumed as OIC
In 2021, Mr. Chairman.
in 2021. Okay. And your professional background, sir?
Yes,
Are you
I'm
an engineer?
I'm an electrical engineer.
You're an electrical engineer. And what are your tasks as OIC CTO?
My responsibilities now are the overall management of the system, the 4 technical groups: system operations, operations and maintenance, planning and engineering, and our technical management department.
So as Chief Technical Officer, who do you... So I suppose you have regular management committee meetings? Or EXICOM? I mean, like meeting with managers of the corporation. That's weekly or monthly? Do you have those?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What are they called? Mancom? EXICOM?
Mancom, Mr. Chair.
Mancom. Okay. Tuwing kailan po yan? Is that monthly?
Monthly, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So I
As
suppose...
needed, yeah.
So as the OIC CTO, you report. Do you submit reports?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Written reports. For you to do that, you sign off, right? As OIC CTO. Are you the only signatory of that report? Or do other individuals sign off as well?
Because I have as an CTO, there's a vice president.
No, I'm talking about only the technical aspect of the corporation. So you're the CTO, therefore, tuwing Mancom, pagdating sa technical na aspeto ng korporasyon, sa inyo po yun. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, ang tinatanong ko po sa inyo, pagka nagsasubmit po kayo ng report, doon po sa inyong CEO, ay kayo lang po ba ang pumipirma sa report na yan?
Meron mga nag-i-initial sa akin, yung mga sa akin before me, mga vice presidents ng SO, vice president ng O&M, vice president ng planning engineering, before I sign.
Okay. Are there other senior technical advisors that you need to consult?
Wala po, Mr. Chair.
So walang senior technical advisors ang NGCP?
Wala po.
Sigurado po kayo?
Yes po.
Pwede ko bang tanungin, Mr. Chair, ang DOE? Kung sa kanilang pagkakaalam, ang NGCP ba ay... kasi sa pagkakaalam ko, kailangan nilang i-report sa inyo kung merong foreign employees ang NGCP. So may we know if in this roster of foreign employees, are there senior technical advisors in that list?
Mr. Chair, before 2018, no? We wala po kaming records as to NGCP asking for our endorsement, no? So pagpapasok yung isang foreign employee or anybody affiliated with NGCP, then they asked us for endorsement or a memo. Now, since 2018 to 2024, that's the only time that we can report, no? So, only it kasi. You're asking about senior technical advisor. In January 21 of 2019, we signed for a senior technical advisor, Mr. Liu Yong. And then on 2019, January 21, the same date, a senior technical advisor for Technology Strategy Committee, Mr. Shu Wei. Then on the same date also, there's another senior technical advisor, Mr. Wu Jiyun. And another senior technical advisor, Quality, Safety, and Environment Department, Mr. Yuan Mingjun. So far, those are the senior technical advisor that we have went through memo or endorsement of DOE. The others are not senior technical advisors.
Salamat, Yusek. So, Mr. Vega, itong individuals na to, they continue to serve the NGCP?
Hindi na po. April 2021, may I assume.
So, beginning April 2021, wala na sila?
I'm the OIC CTO.
Advisor lang.
So, sorry po mahirap, hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit hanggang ngayon po ay OIC pa rin kayo. It's been 3 years. Ano po ba ang proseso para kayo? Kasi naaawa na po ako sa inyo eh. Wala bang permanence ang inyo? Wala bang security of tenure sa NGCP? Ang laki-laki naman ng profits ng inyong kumpanya. Ano po ba ang
Yung pong board ang magdi-decide.
ang board ang magde-decide? So, pwede ba namin malaman siguro kay Attorney Paul, anong kailangan gawin ni Mr. Rico Vega para siya po ay maging permanent na employee? Or are you looking for other candidates?
No other candidate, none that I know of, Mr. Chairman, but as...
I guess the reason for why hindi pa siya permanent CTO,
okay, Mr. Chairman, as this, now that I just learned that he's an OIC, I think at the time that we appointed him to that position as OIC, we needed time to evaluate whether or not, like any employee, may probationary period yan.
yes, so it's been
Oo.
3 years.
So, probably it's a high time that I will call the attention of the board that probably we have to look into Rico Vega's tenure, considering that he has been OIC for quite some time. But I think that was the intention, Mr. Chairman, to see to it, it's some sort of a probationary period.
Well, I didn't mean to intervene in your state of affairs. I was just wondering, right?
Yeah.
And considering that prior to him, there was a Mr. Wanbo, Mr. Wanbo, right? That was the name of the previous CTO. And that Chinese national was not OIC. Permanent ang kanyang appointment. So, nagtataka lang po ako kung meron bang favoritism. Bakit pagdating sa Pilipino na nag-a-assume dito sa posisyon, bakit parang OIC?
Wala
Lang.
naman po, from my perspective.
Yun na nga lang.
Oh, yeah, I will
I
take
was just
note
wondering.
of that. Thank you. I will
So,
take note.
okay. So,
Opo.
and so you confirm, Attorney Paul, that today, wala pong senior technical advisors in the office or in the unit being managed by Mr. Rico Vega.
We have none,
Wala po.
Mr. Chair. Wala po.
So, walang Or any junior
Wala po,
officers? How about
Wala.
consultants?
wala po, Mr. Chair.
How about individuals performing activities relating to procurement?
We have none.
Well,
Chinese, you mean? Mr.
Yes.
Chair?
The
No, we have
reason
none.
for why I ask is because there was a document that was shown in the previous hearing na kung saan, yun na nga po, patungkol sa procurement. So you confirm?
What year was that? Can I be shown
Hindi
that
ko na
document?
maalala.
I'm sorry,
Well,
I wasn't here during
Well, it
the
was
last.
not my document. I was just watching. I can't remember kung anong taon po yun.
Oh,
You
okay.
should know better because matagal na po kayong sa NGCP. Baka si Mr. Rico Vega, baka alam niya.
Mr. Chairman, I saw the document in the last meeting. It was dated 2014.
2014. Thereabouts. So at that time, there were procurement documents signed by Chinese nationals. So that's why I wanted to verify if today that practice continues.
Mr. Chair, that's the document I saw that was flashed, Mr. Chair.
So ngayon, you can confirm wala nang ganon. Lahat ng procurement, lahat ng technical decisions, lahat po ay Pilipino po ang nagde-decide.
Mr. Chairman, yes. I confirm.
Sige po. Let me move, Mr. Chair, to concession fees. So, Attorney Paul, so far, magkano na po ang nabayad ng NGCP in concession fees?
From what I recall, Mr. Chairman, of course, immediately upon the start of the operations of NGCP, we paid 25%.
Yes, what's the total peso amount that
as
you
of
paid
now,
so
as
far?
of now,
Yes. For sure you would have it in your records.
For a moment, Mr. Chairman, please.
Yes, and so,
We will compute, Mr. Chairman.
yes, and so I also would like to ask perhaps Transco, anyone from Transco, or maybe Attorney Matipag, gusto kong malaman, kasi Mr. Chair, gusto kong ma-check kung tama ba ang tax provision ng ating franchise law. Kasi yung 3% franchise tax, obviously, ang naging rational doon is that maliit na lang ang franchise tax, 3%, kasi maglalagay naman tayo ng malaking concession fee. So, yan ay in lieu of income taxes. Diba? So, syempre, gusto natin ikumpara. Magkano ba ang income taxes na binabayaran dati ng Transco? So, baka naman naalala ni Attorney Matibag.
Well, I was not part of Transco at the time yet before the privatization of the concessionaire. But I have, to my recollection, during my time, Transco is paying corporate tax. So yung binabayaran ng Transco doon na corporate tax is, bali, we average it. So compared to sa 3%, may corporate tax na binabayaran na wait, ganito na lang. Sabihin na lang natin, yung concession fee is 163 million, something like that. At that time, ang Transco, bukod sa corporate tax, nagre-remit pa kami ng 15 billion sa National Treasury.
Annually, no?
Annually. Yun yung earnings na ina-assign dun sa government, no? Na, because it's a government-controlled corporation. So nung nag-assume ang NGCP,
So,
163 billion.
apart from the 15 billion
168 pala, 0.9 billion ang concession fee total
ng Transco,
na binayad ng babayad ng NGCP. Yung may first installment, then divided annually.
can you confirm that, Attorney Paul? Parang
I
yung
think
records
Sam
would,
can answer.
or maybe Pisam would have, would you have the records? What's the
Mr. Chair?
total amount?
Mr. Chair, so the total value of the concession fee per our records is about 163.86 billion
That's
pesos.
for the 50 years?
Over the payable over a 20-year period, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
So 25% of that was paid, or 40.96 billion pesos.
okay.
So for the remaining 75% amortized over 20 years, it's about 122.89 billion pesos. Including interest, that's about 94 billion pesos, for a total of about 257.85 billion pesos. To answer the question earlier about what has been paid or what
Yes.
has been received by Bicam and Transco, we have received a total of about 226.8 billion pesos, Mr. Chair.
206.
206.8 billion pesos po.
But the value is only 163?
Inclusive of interest din po.
Ah, okay. So the difference is interest. Okay. And if I remember correctly, the 3% tax is about more or less about 1.2 billion annually. Tama ba yun, Chair Mona?
Yeah, we made the, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, we made the projection at that time from 2009 to 2034, which will be the period of concession. Kung magbabayad ng corporate income tax ang Transco, that will round up to 108.8 billion pesos. 8.8 billion pesos.
108.
Yes. Then multiplied also by 25 years yung 15 billion na nire-remit. So that will be the one that's be going to the government. Less yung naiiwan pa sa Transco for the operations and everything.
So, okay, sorry, slow down a bit. So it's 108 plus,
Meron kasing remittance na at the average mga 10 to 15 billion a year sa National Treasury. So you compute that also from 2009 to 2034. It goes to the government as well in the form of remittance by
because of the
Transco.
dividends law.
Yes. Kasi di ba yung mga GOCC
Yes.
mag-limit sila sa national government. So you compute that from 2009 to 2034. So that's about kung 20 years yan, that's about 300 billion pa.
Oh, so under, what you're saying is under the old arrangement, mas malaki yung
papasok
kikitain
sa-
ng gobyerno.
Sa gobyerno.
Okay.
Kasi ngayon yung 3% na franchise tax, all in na yun na lahat eh.
Yes, but so, but the rationale there, tama ba ako, Attorney Paul, is that yung difference dapat doon is yun ang pang-invest. I mean, pandagdag doon sa dapat i-invest mo sa required na transmission infrastructure. Tama ba yun?
Difference in what, Mr.
Well-
I'm sorry, I did not get that. Difference in...
So basically, if you look at the total of concession fees
Yes.
plus the 3% franchise taxes that you are to pay annually, that is less than what Transco had been paying or would have paid had they continue operating the grid. Or so, and there's a huge difference. And so, yun ang pinag-aaralan natin
Okay,
kasi syempre,
yeah.
di ba, sinasabi natin, this is the time to revisit the franchise law. I
Uh-huh.
mean, do we amend?
Okay.
And if we do amend, I'm of the thinking that maybe we should look into the tax provision. Kasi
Okay.
mukhang
Yeah.
medyo lugi yata tayo. Kasi nga, as explained by Attorney Matipag, ang laki ng difference because annually, they pay corporate income taxes and on top of that, they remit about 10 to 15 billion as a result of the dividends law. So, yan po ay annual until the end of the concession period.
Mr. Chairman, I think, well, from our perspective, wala kaming palya sa concession fee payments. Number two, on the tax po, okay, we have been paying taxes based on the franchise tax as clearly provided for by
Yes,
law,
there-
which is 3%.
There's no question
Opo.
on compliance. I'm
Yeah.
just asking, is there anyone on this side of the room that I suppose yung pasubmit na lang siguro, Attorney Matibag, submit nyo na lang po sa amin yung computation na yan para matignan natin yung comparison ng revenue stream sa gobyerno, kung malaki bang kinalugi natin, if there's a need to adjust, and if there's a recommended tax rate or tax regime in case there's a need to amend. So, my next question, Mr. Chair, is something that I asked Attorney Richard earlier. So, babalikan ko po, no? Sabi ko kanina, if NGCP were to invest, were to complete its transmission development plan at na construct natin ang buong kalsada na kung saan dadaan ang electricity, bababa ang direct transmission charges, and at the same time, more importantly, bababa rin yung congestion costs, right? And so I asked you, in peso terms, what would be the impact?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chairman, ma'am, Your Honor. So I will base my answer, ma'am, based on our report. No? I will use the sample, yung MVIP. The MVIP, based on the Transmission Development Plan of 2020 to 2040, again, was ang target completion was December 2020. The actual energization is May 2023. So that's about 12, 24, then another January, February, March, April, May. So 29 months, say 29 months. So mamang price difference po for Luzon after the completion of the MVIP is 1 peso 99 centavos, no, period to period. If that affects 20% of the generation costs, so using ration proportion, that would translate to around 40 centavos reduction, no, in the generation cost per kilowatt hour. Or if the price of generation is 4 pesos, that is roughly 10%. That's 10% actually. If the generation cost is 5 pesos, so that is 8%. For Visayas,
Pero wait,
ma'am.
Attorney Richard, hindi ba it's as simple as kung nag-invest sila ng tama, walang delay, etc., mawawalan ng congestion? Tama na.
ma'am, yung
So kung ang pag-spike ng presyo is 20% as a result of congestion, edi kung mawala ang congestion, edi yung 20% ang masasave natin. Hindi ba
Yes, ma'am,
ganun yun
but,
kasimple? So
um,
if you look at the current price today, so magkano ba ang average per kilowatt hour across the country?
is around 5 pesos right
No,
now.
I mean total electricity cost.
Per kilowatt hour, ma'am?
Yes.
That's 5 pesos, ma'am.
No, no.
Kasi po, I'm looking only at the generation
Oh,
cost.
sige, maybe you're the wrong person
Yeah.
to ask. 11, maybe ERC, 11 point what? 90?
Pwede po siguro 11 pesos. Pero, ma'am,
Yeah, sige.
mahirap kasing mag-average ng ganun. Kasi po, ang layo, like, Visayas is always higher than Luzon and Mindanao. So, and I think Attorney Richard was giving us an example, Mindanao-Visayas interconnection. So, very specific po yung slice na
Okay.
napili niya.
But, sige, kayo na lang po. If I were to ask you that question, so, is there an estimate of congestion cost na overall so that if hindi sila mag-invest as fast as they should be, ganoon kalaki yung congestion cost. And therefore, kung we have the reverse naman at nangyari naman na na-invest nila lahat ng dapat nilang i-invest on time, etc., ayun naman ay ma-avoid yung congestion cost na yun. So, may ganun ba na estimate?
Wala po na pangkabuuan. Meron po kaming estimate on a per capex project basis. We estimate the value that will be lost if this project is not going to be put up.
O sige,
meron
give
po
us a
kami ganun.
range.
Not
Your Honor.
necessarily po eh. Sige po.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, yun po yung ina-explain ko. Because yung cost po kasi congestion cost affects the entire volume of electricity. So spot and BCQ, magkaiba po siya. So if the price difference, no, sinasabi namin dito sa study, affects 20%, if you translate it to the entire 100% volume, yung 199 translates to 40 centavos reduction per kilowatt hour or roughly 8% reduction in price.
Okay.
Sa Visayas po, that will be 0.35 o 35 centavos pala, sorry, hindi pala 0.4 centavos. 40 centavos or roughly 8% for Luzon, 35 centavos or roughly 7% for the Visayas, and 24 centavos or roughly 5% in Mindanao basing on an average or a price of 5 pesos per kilowatt hour generation cost po yon. Kasi po yung generation cost, dun kami nagbe-base lang. Now,
Okay.
iba-iba po kasi yung
So ito yung indirect na pagbaba ng presyo.
potential na reduction
Okay.
in price. Yes, ma'am.
Na indirect. What about yung direct naman?
Well, actually, that can be...
Both na yun. Both direct
ma'am.
and indirect.
Direct and
Okay.
indirect. Generation cost lang po yon. Now, yung transmission...
Sa wheeling charges.
Yung transmission cost po kasi, that's, yun yung binasa kanina ni Chairperson Mona Di
Walang
Malanta
effect.
po. Opo.
Sa ancillary,
Sa ancillary po, pwede pong may effect na bumaba din. Depende po sa location nung plantang makakapasok. Kasi po, kung mas malapit yung planta dun sa problemang ina-address ng ancillary, bababa din po yung ancillary cost po nila.
okay, although as we know, ito yung mas maliit na component. Yes, pero maliit siya relative to itong sinasabing 8%. Okay. So basically, yun ang range. We're looking at a 5% to 8%, pero on the generation side. So masasabi ba natin na roughly speaking 10% overall?
Pwede pong ganun based on the simulations made by IMAP. Apo.
Okay. So sige, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to summarize na itong ine-effort natin ay, well, ganun kalaki ang ating pinagkakahirapan ba? Kasi malaking kabawasan naman yon, di ba? So ibig sabihin, pwedeng maka-expect ng 10% savings ang ating consumers kapag ma-ensure natin na mag-perform ng optimal ang ating NGCP. So yun po. So siguro just to summarize, Mr. Chair, siguro I think there are 3 issues that we've heard this afternoon. One, obviously, is national security. Sino ba talaga ang ultimately may control dito sa isang napaka-importanting natural monopoly? Of course, on paper, nakikita po natin at si Attorney Paul ay obviously isang Filipino at alam niya na kung paano ang day-to-day operations ng kumpanya. Pero ang tanong is, ultimately, dahil merong tinanong kanina kay Chair mo na may posibilidad ba na remotely merong makapag-control or makontrol ng China ang ating grid, ang sagot ay oo. So yon ang national security concern, I believe, in a gist. Ang second concern is yung kabagalan ng investments in transmission infrastructure, which obviously affects price. And how important is this? Ito na nga, masyadong complicated yung naging computations natin, but putting everything together, putting all the heads of our experts, mukhang more or less, we may expect a 10% reduction overall in price. And lastly, ang tingin ko pong pinag-usapan natin na importante is the effectiveness of our regulators. Kasi monopoly kasi ito eh. So the only way that we can expect a monopoly to produce competitive outcomes in terms of pricing, in terms of investment timing, as well as magnitude, is if our regulators are effective. Sa ngayon, nakakalungkot kasi may tanong pa na sino ba talaga ang regulator? Kasi tila, of course, on paper, nakikita natin, klaro naman, ERC, pero bakit ang DOE? Tila hindi kinikilala na regulator, pero alam naman po natin, ang DOE ang dapat ang pinaka-ama o ina ng buong energy sector. So, yun sa akin ang tingin kong pinaka-gist na issues, Mr. Chair. Good luck po sa atin. I think it's really more than, clearly, marami tayong nakikitang problema sa ating franchise agreement. sa dami na po ng inputs, I think it is very clear na maraming issues. So maraming salamat, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity. And ito na po ba ang huling hearing? Meron pa. Okay, so hope to see you in the next hearing. And finally, last na lang po, ang PISAM kanina nagsabi na merong 66 out of 83 violations. And I know that they are subject to confidentiality, so could you please submit perhaps a redacted version to the committee para you can at least address those confidentiality concerns.
Mr. Chair, so I've been made aware that we submit our reports to the JCEC. And just to correctly state that the findings of the TR flat is that there are items that have not been complied with or there is no basis for compliance. I think it's the politically correct wording of...
No, yes, but can you just please can you give us a redacted, a summary
Yes, ma'am.
of those violations, non-compliance is probably the better term. May 83 po na provisions.
Yes.
If you can redact those that you are unable to provide to us, we will accept that. But at least give us a sense of which are the problematic provisions of the concessionary agreement.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we'll do that.
Right. Salamat, Mr. Chair.